You can take a good oil like extra virgin olive oil and you can turn it into a bad oil that's rancid and it's inflammatory if you cook it too high. So it's really important that the oils that you're cooking with, that each one, you're making sure that you're not going above their smoke point.
You're listening to the Plant-Based Diet Podcast, where we talk about all things plant-based. I'm Esther Garfin, the host of this show and founder of Alternative Food Network. Join me and my amazing array of guests who are a mix of healthcare professionals, industry executives, and people with an interesting story to tell about their plant-based journey. Let us help you with your journey wherever you're at to learn the what, why, and how to eat plant-based. Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well today. Today's episode is going to be pretty short and to the point. We are talking about oils, the kind you cook with. Now, for years, we've been told that certain oils are heart healthy, while others should never be in our kitchens. But here's what most people don't realize. Some cooking oils can become unstable at high heat, lose nutritional value, and even create compounds linked to inflammation. So today, to help us make some better choices in our kitchen when cooking, baking, and making dressings, I'm joined by Dr. Alicia Newsome, who has completed her doctorate in chiropractic, master's level studies in sports health science and nutrition, along with training in functional medicine and genetics. And just a reminder that you can find more of Alternative Food Network's content at Alternative Food Network on Instagram and LinkedIn. And now I'd like to welcome Dr. Alicia Newsome.
Thank you for having me here today.
You know, it was interesting. I was reading your bio, and even though today we're going to be talking about oils, cooking oils, baking oils, everything to do with oils, your bio has you doing all sorts of things. So
Yes.
perhaps we can connect some of the dots for the audience.
There's a few different ways that people work with me. And one is I'm a functional medicine doctor. I work with women all over the country. And primarily women struggling with hormonal imbalances, trouble losing weight, issues with focus, energy, digestion issues, and really help them get to the root cause of what's going on. And then everything that I do is without drugs or surgery. And then what my business has evolved in over time, it turned into me doing more executive advisory work. So people that are wanting to scale their business without burnout. So that's really big when it comes to our hormones. So that's how those two started to link together. And I have an integrated framework where I work with women on body, being, like who are you being, like how are we showing up in life, what do we believe about ourselves, and then also business. And then I also work with teams as well within a lot of these companies where I either work with their executive team or different groups within the company doing wellness challenges.
That's a very interesting mix of skills that you have and that you actually practice or coach or advise in all those different areas. I will say for the audience, the reason we're not talking to you about hormones is because we did not too long ago a couple of episodes on hormones. So I thought that's not what we're going to talk about today again. But if anyone does want to listen to those episodes, you can check out Plant-Based Diet. It's a few episodes ago. And just so people understand, I find that people are asking me a lot, what is a functional medicine doctor?
Yeah.
What is that? And that perhaps if you can explain that, that'll also help explain why we're talking about food and nutrition today.
Yeah, because you probably think most doctors aren't talking to me about oils.
Yeah.
You know? So in functional medicine, think about it that let's say that you have a headache. You can go take some ibuprofen or some Tylenol, Motrin, whatever you prefer, and that headache will most likely go away unless there's some other things going on. But you take your Tylenol, your headache goes away, you feel better. But you did not have a headache because you had a Tylenol deficiency. There's something else going on inside of the body. So in functional medicine, we're looking underneath the surface to see what's really going on. What's the root cause of why someone may have, in my case, issues with hormones, low energy, trouble losing weight, digestion issues, all of those different types of things. So we're really looking at the root and we're looking at what's going on holistically with a person. So instead of like just looking at the heart or just looking at the brain or, just looking at the hormones, we're really looking at everything in your body when it comes to toxins, when it comes to deficiencies, which could be nutrition, it could be sleep, it could be digestion. And then we're also looking at mental, emotional stress and how that impacts the body as well.
Right, right. And we talk a lot on this show about the pillars of health. So you just
Yes.
mentioned several of them.
Yes.
So, okay, let's get into oils.
It really does impact our hormones, it impacts our health, like all of these different types of things. And it's something people use every day and don't always think about, am I using the right oils? Or, which one should I use? And there's so much information out there. So I'm excited about this topic.
What oils should we avoid?
All right. So a lot of the oils that you want to avoid and why is because some oils can be very inflammatory to the body. Okay. And the oils that you want to avoid are going to be your vegetable oils, canola oil, soybean oil, corn oil, peanut oil, cottonseed oil, sunflower oil. Those are some of the less popular ones, but the more popular ones are going to be your vegetable oil, canola oil, peanut oil. And that's because a lot of these oils, they go underneath very heavy processing techniques that are good because they make them shelf stable. You can go to the grocery store, they can sit there for years, and then you bring them home, they can sit on your counter for years. But when you think about things in nature and the things that are healthy for us to consume, none of it lasts forever, right? None of it's lasting for years and years and years. The other thing is that the way that these oils are processed, they're oftentimes extracted with high heat, and a lot of them go through different deodorizing processes that create trans fats. And then, as you know, a lot of that is not good on the body at all when it comes to our cardiovascular health, when it comes to inflammation overall in the body. So those would be the top ones to avoid.
And then when it comes to cooking, what are the best oils to use?
All right. So it's very important to know a few things when it comes to cooking, and that is the smoke point. Okay. So you can take a good oil like olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and you can turn it into a bad oil that's rancid and it's inflammatory if you cook it too high. So it's really important that the oils that you're cooking with, that each one, you're making sure that you're not going above their smoke point. So the best ones to cook with for high heat are going to be your avocado oil. And that could be refined avocado oil or unrefined. Anytime you see refined versus unrefined just means that it went through less processing. It's more nutritious. It may have more pronounced flavors, but the refined oils, they can withstand higher heat. So avocado oil is my go-to for cooking on high heat, as well as coconut oil. So refined coconut oil can be good for cooking on high heat. And then when you start getting into your olive oils, that's where the most you want to do with olive oil is just like a low heat, light sauteing, but really it's best for drizzling onto foods there. But you can do a little bit with that. You can do some baking with it. And then butter is another one as well too for those that consume butter. The main thing with butter to make sure of is one, that is grass fed, and then two, that you're not heating it up where it's turning brown.
And you've mentioned a couple times smoke point. Can you explain exactly what you mean by that?
Yes. So the smoke point is the temperature where the oils they basically start to burn. So now it's releasing free radicals, and then that creates damage to the cells in the body. So it's really important that we're not adding or taking a good oil and heating it higher than its smoke point, and then now it's rancid, it's creating all these free radicals and then damaging the cells of our body. So that's what it is. It's basically when the oil, it stops glistening. That's a good thing to look at as well, and it starts to burn and smoke.
We are going to put a link in our show notes to this episode to your healthy cooking smoke point guide. So if anyone, I guess, wants to read it up a little further on smoke points, we'll have a link for that.
Perfect.
Okay, so we've talked about cooking, what to avoid, what to use. What about for salad dressings or dressings in general?
Yes. So olive oil is great for that extra virgin olive oil. And the difference with extra virgin olive oil versus virgin olive oil versus olive oil is how many presses it's gone through. So just down the street from me, we have an olive mill, and extra virgin olive oil would be like that first press. So they press the olive, it's cold pressed. That's the other thing that's really good about a lot of these oils here that I'm about to talk about. They're cold pressed. So you press them almost like squeezing a lemon. And that first bit of oil that comes out, that it would be considered the first press. And that's extra virgin olive oil. The second press is when it's virgin olive oil, and then from there, olive oil. So the best is going to be your extra virgin olive oil. Again, you can lightly saute with it, but it's great for dressings and finishings. Other good oils that are great for only gentle sauteing and dressings and finishing are going to be hemp seed oil and walnut oil. Those are great as well. And then the ones that you don't ever want to cook with, you don't ever want to heat them up, they're just for dressing and finishing, are going to be flaxseed oil, pumpkin seed oil, almond oil, and macadamia nut oil is another really good one as well. And those all have so many good properties in them. Anti-inflammatory, they're rich in omega-3 fatty acids, where those oils we want to avoid, like the vegetable oils and the canola oils, they are very high in omega-6 fatty acids, where we don't want too much of those. But these oils are very good in omega-3 fatty acids, monounsaturated fats. They're rich in polyphenols, so very, very healthy. And all of these are great for just, finishing or using as dressings on salads and things like that.
Yeah, I'll admit I really just stick to olive oil
Yeah.
as in my salad dressings with other
Me too.
things,
Olive oil, maybe some balsamic vinaigrette.
yeah,
Yeah.
but in terms of
Yep.
oil, I've never used, I use hemp seeds, the seeds,
Yeah.
in my breakfast. I use ground flaxseed, also breakfast, but I don't use them as oils.
Yeah. They can be fun, and they can add some like nutty flavors, more earthy flavors, and things like that to different dishes.
Now, what about for baking? Because I like to bake, and I'll tell you, I have used, I don't know if this is right or not, but I have used avocado oil in baking,
Mhm.
and it seems to be fine.
Yep. Avocado oil is great because it has such a high smoke point. So you can use it in baking, and it really just depends on how high you're baking something. You can use coconut oil in baking. That's great. The for refined, it's typically 450 degrees that you won't want to go above. And most things that we're baking, we're not going that high. Unrefined would be 350 degrees. So it just depends on how hot things are getting there.
Often not really baking more than 350, I don't think.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of those same oils, even olive oil, can be used in baking as well. It's just sometimes when we get to that skillet where we have to be careful, which oils we're using to make sure that we're not making them inflammatory.
Okay, so for baking, again, avocado oil and coconut oil is what you would
Yes,
suggest.
yes.
Is there anything, I know this was intended to be a quick and dirty episode about oils, but
That's
is there
okay.
anything that we didn't cover that you would like to mention?
I mean, really just have fun in the kitchen. Oh, like you said, like having not tried some of the other oils, like it can be fun. I also look at cooking as something that allows us to get more into our creative energy, and it can really help decompress us, especially if we've had like stressful days, as long as cooking doesn't stress you out. But to be able to just like cook and experiment is always something really fun. I even wrote it down every morning. I write down like my goals for the day, and I have this new journal that then says like what's my reward, and it's always hard for me to come up with a reward, but I today I was like, I'm gonna make that ice cream. There's this recipe that I've been looking at for
Oh,
this gelato, so I'm gonna make that today when I
what,
finish everything.
what kind?
It's a strawberry gelato. I've been making protein ice creams, and now I'm gonna make a gelato tonight. So I am new to it. This past month, it's my new kind of thing that I'm trying out, and my kids wanna make different things. My son is 3, and I read him this Pete the Cat book every night, and he has, like, all the flavors
Oh,
memorized. So he's
oh.
like, "Let's make the blue raspberry," and, all of that.
Oh, very cute. Well, I guess you're eliminating a lot of the sugar that's typically
Yeah.
in regular ice cream, so
Yeah, yes, so I'll use stevia glycerate, because it doesn't have as much of an aftertaste as some of the other stevia, so I'll
mhm.
use that as the
Yeah.
sweetener. Yeah, I'm experimenting.
All right. Well, it was great to meet you. If someone who's listening wants to find you, where can they do that?
Yes, so dralicianewsome.com, that's my website, and then everything's my name. You can even just Google me or Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of them. It's Dr. Alicia Newsome.
We want to spell the name
Yes,
for everyone.
Alicia. Newsome with an E at the end.
Great, great.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Well, again, easy episode, but hopefully informative
Yeah.
for people because anyone who's cooking or making anything at home is going to be using some type of oil. I hope you found this helpful. Please share, rate, leave a review, and follow Plant Based Diet on your favorite podcast listening platform. You can find us on YouTube and Instagram at Alternative Food Network. We also publish a monthly newsletter that includes plant-based recipes, links to our latest episodes, and the occasional giveaway. You can subscribe for free by going to our website at alternativefoodnetwork.com and click the newsletter sign up button. Until next time, thanks for listening. All content provided or opinions expressed in this podcast are for informational purposes only and are not a substitute for professional medical advice. Please seek advice from your doctor or other qualified healthcare practitioner.